Hi, my name is Mark Wagner, and I'm an undergraduate student at Robert H. Smith School of Business. Right now, I'm in my junior year, and I will be graduating next year with a degree in finance. And I'm here to talk about and kind of make something for myself to look at in a few years about where I'm going to be headed after college and what kind of organization I'd find myself best fitted in. So right now, post-graduation, I'm probably going to end up working in a marketing job that I used to work for this employer before. He's a friend of mine, and this was the best job to have. In fact, I have a few pictures. Let's see. Of when I worked here before. I was right here in the background attending Blitz Academy. This is the owner and founder, and this is their CEO, and there's a small team, and they do internet marketing, and I like it because it's like one of those creative West Coast type firms, and we had a lot of fun together. I did enjoy the environment. Lately, I've been kind of conflicted because my degree, let me turn that off. My degree is a finance degree, so ideally, I want to be working in the New York area, and not running around doing something unrelated. So once I get but it's been so competitive that I haven't really seen myself finding something right without the degree, because it's such a requirement that I think typically internships for that start after college. So I'm probably going to wait till I have one. But I also have a tenancy business that I'm doing, and I'm already making what some graduates make. So I'm not pressured highly, which is a good and a bad thing. I'm not highly pressured to find a job right away. 8 to 10 years from now is a huge event horizon. I'd like to probably work for a few West Coast firms as an independent agent, making financial deals, and kind of just general, the business is about knowing people and making things happen, unless you're within a firm, and to me, that's a different type of work. Then you're actually in a certain profession, whether you're a procurement officer or something. So I probably will also continue to purchase properties, and I know it's old school, but maybe buy a few small businesses that are standard industry firms. Be kind of careful with the newer app things because it's harder to judge, but I'm more of a slow growth planner. And I don't think I will get past small, medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, because the bureaucracy just doesn't suit me that well. That's my mortal enemy, and I probably lack the GPA for some of those anyhow, because I've been bustling and bustling everywhere with different projects. So I tend to find work when I meet the owner and we get along, and I have some talent that I can really help them with, and I don't take the direct approach. And I'll get into a little more of that later. But that's why after college, I probably want to spend some time building my story, because that's very important, especially in an industry where everyone has a business degree and you kind of need to separate yourself. So I might spend a little bit of time while I can, because I'll have my whole life to work. And although they advise against it, but that's what makes it so unique, to spend some time sailing. I'm not traditionally a sailor, but I want to get into it, maybe not as a profession. And later on, I can do some more, I can network off the contacts I met. This was in San Francisco. He is the CMO of LinkedIn, and he is the head of security for Symantec, and I think she's a writer for the San Francisco Chronicle. So, network just comes from people naturally like to do what's fun. So, if you go on sailing trips or something, that's how I'm going to do my Uber networking. And I can rely on the bad exam to some degree, and I shouldn't say that rely, but I'm already, in fact, today got to connect because I have a very high score on the Bloomberg aptitude test. So I'm trying very unconventional ways to get around the GPA and find something that I will find myself suited to, and connect with people that will hire me not just because of my qualifications, but because of who I am. And I think that's how the best jobs are really found. So I'm going to spend some time traveling. I know that wealth doesn't come overnight, but taking this off. It doesn't come overnight, but much of the grinding can be cut out of the way if you meet the right people. And those are people that you meet because of who you are and who you've made yourself to be. So, I mean, a few computer science courses wouldn't hurt either, because, who doesn't need that now? So if I had a dream job and I found something right away out of college, which there will be things I'll have to make a decision, and I may take it and run with it, but I just don't want to take anything too far away from finance or a fun opportunity, something that would expand my mind if, just for the sake of employment, because I can do my own work and have myself covered. So it's an interesting situation. My strengths and weaknesses are I like people who are honest, who I can do business with and rely on, but also who are creative. And they say engineers are more creative than they get credit for. That's why a lot of companies hire them. I do get along very well with engineering type people in a lot of situations. I don't like someone who just charges for the first solution and tries to outrun everyone without thinking of any kind of compromise. I don't think they consider a compromise. And I can say that there's for everything there's an alternative way to do it. There's always another way to work around, and at times you need to be competitive. But I think people don't like, and it's hard to find a team because of that, especially in this part of the country, as people are so competitive that want to know what's in it for me right now. So when you do run into those folks, then you have an ability to create something together, and that's important. I do like to just do it, though. And someone's told me that when I wake up, they said, I admire you, because when you wake up in the morning, you had a dream and you go and do that dream the next day. And I tend to do extreme things, and a lot of people just can't believe what I'm doing because they think that's not what you can't do that. I said, who's going to stop me in this? That's what the entrepreneur says. Who's going to stop me? And it's not my favorite word, entrepreneur, because I don't feel like I've done anything that incredible to use pretentious words like that. But yeah, just growing, doing the same thing but better, with different things like renting houses or renting cars or taking advantage of the new app businesses they have today. I've been doing that. And as far as my teamwork, though, because I know it's sooner or later I'm going to have to get a real job and a real company with a team. And I noticed in this class we've been just blowing through the forming, storming, and norming very quickly, and I'm faster with my work than I was before. And I know the quality suffers a little bit when you speed through things, but there's so much coming at you in a college environment that it pays to get everything done on time, more importantly than totally perfect, So my team was very in control emotionally. There wasn't a lot of politics. And I think that, and in some other classes, it wasn't quite as we didn't perform quite as well, because I think people have to be at the same level. They have to have the same amount of time commitment. They need to be at the same level of dedication, either more or less, but if everybody's working at the same speed, that's how we managed to do this turf bikes so well. Because it's not like, I was done on Tuesday at 3 o'clock where it was your work, and the other person's like, oh, I typically do it the night before, or, wait till midnight, and then there's a conflict, and then the conflict things degenerate, and now the teammates are giving each other bad reviews, whereas if they just both came together the next day before and got something done, the point is, the whole goal is not to just get the task done perfectly. It's to work together really well. So when students start to figure that out, that's when teamwork really happens. And when it's time for you to pick up the rope and take your part of the task. So hopefully no one's really lazy. If they're just absentee the whole time, that's something else. But so. To write myself a letter, I'd love to do that. Was the Bruce Springsteen thing, write a check to myself for $1 million 20 years from now. But 5 years is not a long time to know myself in. But I guess I have had miraculous developments. I really can't see where I'll be in 5 years, and it's so hard to say because in the past 5 years I've gone places I've never thought I'd go. I've met people I never thought I'd meet, and done things I wouldn't have thought I could accomplish. So I suppose, like Warren Buffett said, don't plan too far ahead because things change all too much. So, and I know people who tend to be more successful plan farther ahead, and those who aren't, plan what am I to do tomorrow. But I think there's an appropriate horizon that you should have. Otherwise, you're not really hedging against change. And for me, that's 2 to 3 years. My personal theory is it's the number of decades you've been alive squared. So if I've been two decades, 22. Then I should be looking about 4 years ahead. And, for someone who's been 3 decades, they should be looking 9 years ahead, and so on. And I do want to be successful, and I know it's defined by, how much money you make these days. And that's true because that allows you to do things. Although, having toys and meeting interesting people and having leisure time, although I probably will find a way to do those things without becoming super rich, because there's always a way. You know, I just got a sailing yacht on Craigslist, and I'm going to take it down to the islands. So on a shoestring budget of a college student. So that's part of my building my who I am, and I want to do something because I like to do it, and not just climbing a tree, especially not through an employment ladder, because I think those just take too long, frankly. It's 400 years to make it. You have to start your own thing to be really valued by society, and that determines how much you'll be compensated. And I know that even though I have a strange kind of ambition, I'll make it to the top, because I always have a taste for more when I do something. If I have 3 rental houses, I say I need to get a 4th. I want to do more. I want to climb higher. And I get bored with what I'm doing if I'm not constantly going to the next step. So, that's it. I guess there's not too much else to say. I've had a really good time with this group project we've done, and I think I'll find myself in a myriad of different work situations in the near future, but it probably won't be the typical corporate chain that a lot of people go through, which is very, very rewarding to many. It's very safe. The benefits are wonderful. It's spectacular. And the recognition you get for working for Deloitte or KPMG is fantastic. But Goldman, we're in a bear market right now. And until that turns around, I think I'm going to be finding myself doing a lot of my own things. But it's going to really work out for me, because it's going to fit that adventurous taste I have, going to have for probably the next 10 years. So it'll all work out, but there's plenty of time. So I think I'm going to focus on what really matters. So thank you for watching my screencast, and hopefully this could be the beginning of my much needed blog. And to all my friends who are watching, thank you, and well, talk to you later.